All right, lesson 4.9, graphing quadratics in standard form. So this is the basic form of parabola, ax squared plus bx plus c. We've been doing this for a while. Okay. The vertex is always either the highest or lowest point. Okay, so if it's the lowest point, that means you have a smile. That means it's positive. If it's the highest point, that means you have a frown, which is negative. So we use the vocabulary, the maximum is the highest point, and the minimum is the lowest point. So think about it like a ball bouncing off the floor or bouncing off the ceiling. So how do you start to graph? The x value of the vertex. So remember, a vertex is going to be a point. It's going to be the highest point. It's going to have an x and a y. All right. This point right here can be found doing opposite of b over 2a. And remember, a is here, b is here, and c is here. So a is -1, b is 10, and c is -15. We don't really need the c for this, but it'll come in handy later. All right, so first step is always identify your a, b, and c. So we have 3, 12, -5. We don't need the c right now, but again, it's a good habit to practice. All right, since this is a positive 3, it opens up, and it has a minimum. Okay, like so. The axis of symmetry is going to be x equals some number, right? And it's going to be the x value of the vertex. So we're going to do opposite of b over 2a. Like we've done before, leave blanks and then fill in the numbers. This helps especially when you have a negative b. So in this case, opposite of b over 2a. So -12 over 6, which is -2. So we know the vertex is at -2 something. And then the axis of symmetry is that -2. Okay. Now, the y-intercept, remember how we said we were going to not worry about c? The y-intercept is c when it's in standard form. Now, to find the rest of the vertex, we have two choices. We can plug that -2 back into this equation right here and crunch the numbers. So 3 times -2 squared plus 12 times -2 minus 5. Now, some people are still doing this. Remember, -2 squared is not -4, it's +4. So 4 times 3 is 12, minus 12 times -2 is -24 minus 5. So that's -12 minus 5, -17. But the other way that I want you to be doing is using your graphing calculator. Okay, so we go to y equals, clear out whatever's in there, and put in 3x squared plus 12x minus 5, and hit graph. Okay, you can kind of see how it came back up and went through about -5. Well, that is the y-intercept. So we go to table, okay, there's my -2 right there, but if it wasn't, we would look for it, -2, -17. It gives it to me right there, okay? And then if you think about it, we're going to go graph this, just pick some points off the graphing calculator and graph it. So the domain, if you look at it on the calculator, graphed, and the domain is going to be the same for all of these. How far left and how far right? Forever and ever. The range, how low does it go? Remember, this is a minimum. This is the y value. This tells me the range. So it goes down to -17 and goes up towards positive infinity. It hits -17, so we use a bracket. All right, now we're going to do everything, including graphing. First off, it's got a negative number. So that means it's doing this, all right, which means it has a maximum. The vertex is going to be opposite of b over 2a. So let's identify a, b, and c first. A is -2, B is 20, and C is negative 46. We don't need that for here, but we will use it for graphing, sort of. Not on this chart. So opposite of B over 2A. B is 20, A is negative 2. So that's negative 20 over negative 4, which is positive 5. So the vertex is at 5 something. The axis of symmetry is x equals 5. Now, again, I can plug this in, or I can just go to my calculator. So go to y equals, clear it out, 2x squared plus 20x minus 46. Now that negative 46, remember, that C is the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is way off the chart. Okay, that's kind of a funky looking one, and we'll see why. So the domain still is negative infinity. I don't know why I put two negatives. To positive infinity. The range, how low does it go? Well, remember, look at the calculator, go to the table, and look at negative 5. Negative 96. Now you see how it goes 94, 94, 88, well, negative 88, negative 88. That's because it's starting to mirror on either side of that axis of symmetry that goes through negative 5, negative 96. Right? So this one's going to be kind of a hard one to graph. But the range, remember, this tells us the range. It goes down and I just realized a slight mistake. I missed my negative. So let's insert a negative there. Let's see how that changes things. Well, that's a little bit nicer. Now you can see on that left side, though, where it's going down, that's going to hit way down at negative 46. Okay, but obviously if I go to my graph now, my table, this is going to change my vertex. So I go to 5 and see what I get. 5, 4. That's a lot better. Okay, so with the range, this time it's going through, it's 5, 4 is the top. Okay, that means that is as high as it's going. So it's going towards negative infinity and coming up and hitting at 4 with a bracket. Now to graph this, let's get some other points off of here. You can see it's going off the chart real quickly. So 4, 2 and 6, 2. And then 8 and 2 at negative 14. So kind of off the chart down here approximately. And there is our graph. Okay. All right, same thing here. This time we have a positive. Okay. That means it's going to look like this, having a minimum. Identify A, B, and C. Again, you notice our C is 38. That's going to be our y-intercept way off the top of the chart, which we won't be able to graph. Negative 12, very important here, and 1. So when we do the opposite of B, that's why I said it's really important to do this, so you don't just write negative 12. Because it's going to be the opposite of negative 12 over 2 times A, which is 1. So that's going to be 12 over 2, which is 6. So the vertex is going to be at 6 something, and the axis of symmetry is x equals 6. So we haven't done it for a while in this lesson, but remember, that's where this line is, x equals 6. Okay? Now, once again, we could plug in 6 here and here, but you know, we have the calculator. Let's use it. Let it do the heavy lifting. So I'm going to clear this out. I'm going to put x squared minus 12x plus 38. I'm going to hit graph. There's my happy parabola. You can see that the vertex is above the x a little bit, so let's go there. And look at 6. It's 6, 2. Okay? So 6, 2 is the vertex. And then it starts mirroring. All right? So 5, 3, and 7, 3. And then 8, 6, and 4, 6. And there is my graph. And you can see way off here, it's going to eventually hit 38. Now my domain doesn't change. Still going left and right forever. Right? My range, how low does it go? Okay? And remember that comes from here. The y value of the vertex. So it's bottoming out at 2, going up to positive infinity. We use a bracket because it hits on 2. Okay, more of the same, more practice. A, B, C. We have 3, 12, and 4. I'm just going to put this right here right now because that's an easy one. All right. Opposite of B over 2A. B is 12. A is 3. So negative 12 over 6, which gives me negative 2. So being that this is positive, we're going to have a smile. So we have a minimum. The vertex is at negative 2 comma something. And the axis of symmetry is immediately x equals negative 2. The domain, I already know this also. I can do this right away because it's going to be left and right forever. So go to my calculator. Y equals, clear it out, 3x squared plus 12x. Oops, I missed my plus. Plus 4. Graph. You can see how it goes through 4. All right. And my vertex is going to be at negative 2 something. So that kind of matches up. Let's see where that is. So this climbs pretty fast, you see, kind of off the chart. 19 is a pretty big number. So negative 2, negative 8. So that's right here. And that is my vertex. I immediately now can go to my range. Okay. Again, this is a happy parabola. All right, so it's going towards positive infinity, and it bottoms out at negative 8. So let's get some other points. So negative 3 and negative 1, negative 5. And then negative 4 and 0, 4. We already have the 0, 4, so there's my matching one right here. And then there is my parabola. Pretty easy stuff. Okay, I'm going to make a note to myself that this is a negative 1. I'm going to remind myself right here so I don't make the same mistake I did before. A is negative 1, B is negative 8, and C is negative 12. So even though negative 12 is off the chart, you know, I know my y-intercept is about there, approximately. So I just put that on there. So since it's going down, that means it is a maximum. Okay. The vertex, opposite of B over 2A. So B is negative 8, and A is negative 1. So opposite of negative 8 is positive. This is negative 2, which gives me negative 4. So my vertex is at negative 4, comma, something, and my axis of symmetry is at negative 4. Okay, so there's my axis of symmetry right there. And let's just go to the calculator to find out where it's going to be. So clear out. Don't forget my negative this time. X squared, that's not squared, x squared minus 8x minus 12. Okay, let's graph that. There's our sad one going through, again, negative 12, a little bit off the chart. And we're at negative 4 for our vertex. So let's see where we're at. Negative 4, positive 4. Whoops. Let's use an actual color there. Negative 4, 4. Again, does that match kind of what we have? Yep. So let's get some other points. One more there. So negative 6, 0 and negative 2, 0. Negative 5, 3 and negative 3, 3. There. And there is my parabola. Domain doesn't change. Okay. And the range, we said this was 4. So that means it's going down to negative infinity and hitting at 4 on the upper side, top side, right here. That's where it tops out. All right, so what if the direction state convert into intercept form? Okay, so for intercept form, that means we need to factor it. So in this case, we need two numbers that multiply to give me 12 that add up to 8. Well, that's 6 and 2. And this is positive, so they're both positive. Okay, which means my intercepts would be at negative 6 and negative 2. Okay, vertex form. That means we have to do completing the square. So we move the 12 over, leave that space. We do our little trick here where we take half of the 8. We come up here and square it. Add 16 to both sides. And then that's going to be 4. And then all we're going to do is move that back over. Y equals x plus 4 squared minus 4. And let's enter this one in just for the heck of it. So clear that out. We have x squared plus 8x plus 12. Let's graph it. Looks about right. Second graph. Negative 6, 0, negative 2, 0. That's what we have right there. Okay. Let's see what that vertex is. Right there at negative 4, 4. Well, remember, this can be written as minus negative 4 squared minus 4. So we saw the vertex was at negative 4, negative 4. There we go. That's how you do it.